logging is used by Helios to collect diagnostic information. So here we are in Windows Explorer, and I'm going to show you a few places where log information exists. If you're working on a problem, maybe you're developing your own profile, or you're asked by a developer for additional information regarding a problem you're having or a bug you're filing. This is where you'll find the log information. So the log files exist as they did in 1.4 in your whatever My Documents is called in your language, followed by Helios. So there's a folder called Helios in your documents that has two main log files, controlcenter.log and profileeditor.log. These files were also in this location in Helios 1.4, but there are a number of changes about that, and I'm going to just summarize them real quick. First of all, these files now refer only to the most recent session of that tool. So the last time you ran controlcenter.log, that information is in this file. Every previous run before that gets archived into this folder called log archive. So you can see that on this date I ran it one time, or actually 15 times, and the other 14 copies I deleted. But basically it will keep the logs in this folder for some reasonable amount of time. I believe right now it's up to 30 files and up to 7 days. So as long as you're doing your debugging or you're filing your bug report within that time period, you'll still be able to get the relevant log file. If you're asked to provide a log file for a problem you had, obviously that means you'll have to look in this folder for the file that includes the correct time codes, the correct time span when you're actually having the problem. There are also additional files that end in problems.log. So there's profile editor problems, control center problems, and Helios patching problems.log. If those files exist at all, that means something's wrong. It could be a bug in a profile that you're building, or a profile you downloaded, or it could be a bug in the software. Either way, under normal operations, when everything's fine, these files won't be there at all. So here you can see, for example, that this file was created 10 days ago, because 10 days ago I was running some early build and it didn't quite work through some exceptions. Since then, it hasn't had any problems, so it hasn't had the need to replace this file. So that's just something to look out for. Always look at the file dates and times to make sure it's actually relevant. Finally, if you want to increase the amount of information that's in these files by debug logging, if you're asked to run it in debug log mode, you would go to the program files folder for Helios and you would run one of these shortcuts. So profile editor in debug mode, it's called profile editor debug, control center debug. So these are shortcuts that will execute control center or profile editor with the command line switches set to debug log. They'll run a bit slow, especially control center, but if a developer asks you, or if you really need some additional information regarding a problem you're working on, it's usually worth it to make a debug log by running one of those. I believe that's everything that is different.